My questions would have centered on the existence of satellite offices of the Office of the Vice President. Unfortunately, COA submitted the data and information regarding the satellite offices of the OVP just last night. Tama po.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, I did not have time to look into these documents kasi gabi na kayo nag-submit it. Mr. Chair, be that as it may, I will not ask questions about that. But I would like to make first a manifestation. From the previous hearings, we have established two things as regards the documentary pieces of evidence of payments for confidential funds. Una, ang mga irregularidad sa mga impormasyon na kasaad sa mga acknowledgement receipts. At ikalawa, ang kakulungan sa mga kinakailangang impormasyon para matiyak kung tama ba ang paggamit ng confidential funds na ito. Attorney Lopez, do you believe that public officers occupy a public trust?
Yes, Your Honor. That is enshrined in the Constitution.
Section 1, Article 11 of the Constitution. Tama?
Yes.
Yes. Now, would you also agree with me that the impassivity of the public officers and employees to attend congressional inquiries of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability gives rise to a betrayal of public trust, considering that they are avoiding public accountability through inquiry by duly elected representatives? Would you believe that? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Your Honor, may I be allowed to...
Yes or no? I am asking if you believe it or not.
Your Honor,
You do not believe it?
no, in the sense that it is not a betrayal of public trust, exactly, Your Honor. Because the decision to attend the hearing, Your Honor, is a personal one.
No, because you are compelled if we issue a subpoena. It's not personal. Would you agree with that also?
Yes, Your Honor, because if it's a subpoena, it becomes coercive.
Yes.
But in the end, respectfully, if it is an invitation, there is also a right on the end of the invitee to decline.
I agree. But the end of
Yes,
that is that we can issue a subpoena
Yes. that
in
is
order
correct.
to force you to attend these hearings. Tama.
Yes, Your Honor.
O in that case, if you are forced to attend hearings and you do not attend, would that not also constitute a betrayal of public trust? Following your logic,
Your Honor,
pakisagot lang po na yes or no. Yung katanungan ko po, yes or no eh. There's no need for any explanation unless I ask for one.
it could be, Your Honor, yes.
Thank you. Would you agree also with me that public officers must uphold public interest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And part and parcel of the duties and responsibilities of public officers is to give due regard to the lawful processes of a co-equal branch of government.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And the impassivity of the public officers and employees to attend the congressional inquiries of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability gives rise to a betrayal of public trust, considering that their continued absence interfere with the actions and mandate of this committee, just like your two people, the special dispersing officers in the persons of Madam Gina Acosta and Madam Sunshine Fajarda. Would you agree with that also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank
It is
you.
a possibility, yes.
And therefore, being the boss, you are also obliged to see to it that they perform this duty.
Yes, Your Honor. I
And
Hear that.
therefore, we expect na pagsabihan mo sila
Opo.
na umattend dito sa hearing na ito. That's part of your duty.
Respectfully, Your Honor, that was my commitment earlier, that I will endeavor to bring them to the next hearing.
Thank you. And I think you will also believe that public officers are sworn to uphold the Constitution. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
And public officers have sworn to uphold the Constitution and have violated their oath by preventing Congress from lawfully exercising its own mandate under Section 21, Article 6 of the Constitution to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation. Would you agree with that also?
Sir, respectfully, may you please repeat that particular question lang, this one, and the phrase that you refer to?
Yes. Public officers are sworn to uphold the Constitution.
Yes.
Yes. Public officers have sworn to uphold the Constitution and would have violated their oath by preventing Congress from lawfully exercising its mandate under Section 21, Article 6 of the Constitution to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
If you, Your Honor, may I seek to qualify my answer as regards the last question?
Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Your Honor,
please.
Sa
Mr. Chair.
akin, Mr. Chairman.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Okay. In this case, Your Honor, preventing or aggressive defiance, Your Honor, that might constitute as such. But if there is a valid reason on the end of the person, that might be considered. But again, aggressive and continued defiance without justification or reason, Your Honor, that may be taken as such.
Congressman Acop.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chair. But you will also believe that the queries of members of the committee remain and will remain unanswered if the responsible public officers or employees fail to elucidate on the subject issues by their continued absence. And the conspicuous absence of these public officers and employees of the Office of the Vice President causes immediate or threatened injury to the powers of this committee granted under the Constitution. Would you agree with that also?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And Mr. Chair, dahil po sa ginagawa ng mga tauhan under Attorney Lopez and under the Office of the Vice President, I believe that we can file administrative cases against the non-attending public officers and employees of the OVP before the Office of the Ombudsman. That is my point of view and my stand, Mr. Chair. Kasi they can be charged for misconduct and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service as a cause of action. Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I proceed?
Please continue.
Thank you. Clarificatory questions. Attorney Lopez, you are the Chief of Staff and Undersecretary under the Office of the Vice President. As such, you are the number 2 insofar as the OVP is concerned.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And all those people under the Office of the President,
Vice President.
Vice President, kayo po ang tinitingnan na mataas maliban kay Vice President.
Yes, after the Vice President.
Yes. Being the Chief of Staff, kami po, ako, galing sa militar, galing sa pulis, yung mga iba, may mga opisina, meron silang mga Chief of Staff. And everybody of us will say na yung Chief of Staff ang nakakaalam lahat ng operations na kanilang opisina. Would you agree with that?
In my experience, Your Honor, that does not hold true. So I cannot agree to that
How long have you
statement.
been in the government service?
More than 10 years, Your Honor.
10 years. Ako, more than 4 decades.
I hear.
At ang pagkaalam ko, yung chief of staff is the most knowledgeable among the staff of a head of office.
In most cases, Your Honor, yes. That
So
is
you're the
correct.
only exception?
No, Your Honor, it is only in this matter that I am not privy to.
You're not privy on what matter?
The matter of confidential funds in the...
You're lying, Madam Attorney, simply because the letters that you wrote to COA would belie your statement. Kasi alam mo eh. If you read intently the contents of your letters, alam mo. How can you explain yung AOM?
Respectfully, Your Honor, Mr.
Kayo
Chair,
po ang nakapirma doon.
ako po
And
yung...
would you say na pumirma ka na hindi mo alam yung nandun? Are you trying to tell me that, being a lawyer?
Your Honor, the documents, the attachments, as regards the answer to the AOM was presented and prepared by Mr. Ortonio. It is not incumbent upon me to double-check or to review such documents, Your Honor. My role in the
Pero
Office of the
ikaw ang
Vice...
pumirma.
Office of the
Di
Vice...
ba, sa bilang abogado, ang sabi nga sa law school, di ba, sa inyo, bago mo pirmahan yung iyong death warrant, basahin mo muna.
Opo.
Di ba?
Yes, Your Honor. I simply checked, Your Honor, the form. Ano po yung attachments
Ikaw naman,
and the
attorney.
explanation. Your Honor, respectfully, Mr. Chair, I have also mentioned this earlier when in the question of Congressman Adjo, Congressman Zia, I mentioned that the matter of disbursement, utilization of the confidential fund, that is the matter that I am not really privy to. But in the matter of explaining, for example, issuing external communications to a government agency such as the Commission on Audit, as the highest official in the OVP, Your Honor, I sign off on all the documents. That is one of my role in
And what is the significance of your signature?
that it has been
Di ba
reviewed.
dapat dun is, alam mo yung bagay na yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Ikaw naman, oh. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng, attorney, hindi ka pwedeng pipirma sa isang na hindi mo babasahin. That is your training as a lawyer. You cannot depart from that. Yes.
Respectfully, Mr. Chair, as mentioned earlier, I signed it as a matter of course as the head of the agency for that external communication. Subject, of course, to the attachments that were included and the explanations made, Your Honor.
I think you better change that, madam. Dahil one day you might be signing your death warrant when you do not read it. Di ba posible po yun?
Yun po, I can only speak for that, my experience, Your Honor. That was exactly what happened in that letter.
Thank you. How long have you been working with Mr. Ortonio and Madam Acosta?
Mr. Ortonio was a colleague also in the city government, Your Honor, of Davao.
How about Madam Acosta?
Also one of the employees of the local government unit.
So matagal na kayo magkasama. And how long would that be?
More than 10 years, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Oh. Doon sa 10 years na yon, mas mataas ba sila sa iyo o mas mataas ka pa rin sa kanila?
Mr. Ortonio was a city department head also, Your Honor, which had the same rank as me. But Ms. Gina Acosta is one of the employees.
But you were the
senior.
city administrator then.
Yes, Your
Oo.
Honor.
And then, You know everybody. You know what is going on in the local government unit that you belong to, right?
I know a lot of, not everything, Your Honor.
It is expected of the city administrator to know the operations of the local government unit, especially the branches or the offices under that unit.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Yes. Alam ko naman na maaaring hindi mo alam lahat, but it is expected of you, being the city administrator, alam mo dapat ang mga yon. Right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Now, doon sa confidential fund, do you know of its existence in your office? Eh kasi kanina, dinideny mo parang wala kang kaalam-alam eh. But do you know the existence of a confidential fund in your office?
Yes, Your Honor. It is part of our budget.
Hindi. Yung 2022, did you know that?
2022, Your Honor?
Yes, yung
Yes.
125.
Yes.
Yes, you know it. How did you come to know about it?
Your Honor, it was part of the recommendation, the request that we made to the Department of Budget and Management.
Sino po ang gumawa ng sulat na yun?
The letter was signed by the head of agency, Your Honor.
So it's the head of agency ang gumawa. Hindi mo sinasagot yung tanong ko. Yung tanong ko is, if you understood it properly, sino po ang gumawa ng sulat na yun? Yun ang tanong ko eh.
Attorney Lopez,
Are you trying
please,
to tell me that
please be responsive to the question.
Are you trying to tell me that the Vice President was the one who prepared that letter?
No, Your Honor. We drafted the letter for consideration of the Vice President. We included therein all the other requests that we needed from the Department of Budget and Management. It is
So
a request.
you know something about confidential funds.
The request, Your Honor, yes.
Ano naman, the request of the confidential fund. Well, yung confidential fund per se, hindi mo alam?
Your Honor, as mentioned earlier in the interpellation of Mr. Zia Diong, only the disbursement, utilization, these are matters that I am not privy to. But in the request for the budget that included the confidential fund, we drafted that letter, Your Honor.
Kasi in your letter to COA na pinirmahan ninyo ni Mr. Ortonio, detalyado eh. It pertains to yung liquidation reports insofar as the confidential funds are concerned. And yet you're telling us you do not know anything about its utilization, but you can answer the AOMs of COA. Specific na po yun, yung mga observations ng COA. Now, kaya I cannot believe that you do not know anything about its disbursement
Your
or
Honor.
its liquidation. Kasi nandito eh. Ang nakalagay dito, if may read, we respond to its finding in the AOM in seriatim. Kalagay, the submitted liquidation reports with their supporting documents. You're already speaking of liquidation reports and still you deny you do not know?
Your
Baka
Honor,
mapikon ako iha eh.
respectfully, Your Honor, I am not, I wouldn't want that, Your Honor. The letter was prepared, as mentioned earlier, by Mr. Ortonio, and he presented the attachments to the same. As a matter of course, Your Honor, I took a look at it, looked at the attachments, and then saw it correct in form. And because all external communications have to be signed by the highest official in the Office of the Vice President, I signed off. It was a matter of course, Your Honor, on my end. In the same manner,
So when you say matter of course, Madam, you said it's ministerial on your part?
Your Honor, if I may, Mr. Chair, even in the regular audit, when we have AOMs, these are
Ma'am, you have to be reminded that you are under oath.
Yes, I know that. Your Honor, even for the matter of regular audit, these items are prepared by the finance cluster. And on my end, Your Honor, I review the attachments and the explanations, and then I sign off on it also. So it is really, that is, Sir Acop, what I meant by it's a matter of course. It is something that I sign off on, provided in form, it's already the proper attachments and the explanations are there. But as to whether how it was liquidated and how it was disbursed, I have no direct knowledge, Your Honor. It is simply a paper review on my end.
I'm amazed, Attorney Lopez. Kasi ang tingin ko sa mga abogado meticulous sila, binabasa. Pero on your part, working as the chief of staff, hindi ka naging meticulous. Anyway, I'll go to another topic. I will refer to your letter to the Honorable Gamaliel Cordoba, 21 August 2024. I think you already saw this letter and, shall we say, state to the committee that you signed. This signature is yours, right?
Your Honor.
Now, when you signed this letter, kayo po ang gumawa?
Your Honor, this matter was
Pakisagot lang po yung tanong ko. Kayo po ang gumawa?
hindi po, Your
Hindi.
Honor.
So, sino po ang gumawa nito?
It was drafted by Mr. Lemuel Ortonio.
Is Mr. Lemuel Ortonio a lawyer?
No, Your Honor, he's
No.
not.
And you read this letter?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you agreed with all the contents of this letter?
That was our position, Your Honor. It was a shared.
No.
Yes.
You answer my
Yes.
question. Now, may I ask, can you explain to me that when we investigate the use of confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education, you are of the position that the subject subpoena violates the constitutional principle of separation of powers? Could you please educate me? How did we violate the principle of separation of powers? Nandito po sa sulat po ninyo, pinirmahan ninyo.
Your Honor, may I read the letter in
Yes.
total? Yes. For the record, it says, the principle of separation of powers is violated when one branch of government unduly encroaches in the domain of another. Jurisprudence provides that there are only two ways to violate the subject principle, namely, by impermissible interference with another department's performance and by assumption of another department's functions. Here, it is clear that the subpoena was not issued in aid of legislation and thus exceeds the legislative power of inquiry, and its issuance impermissibly interferes with the exclusive functions of the Commission on Audit and infringes upon the independence of the Commission. And then, first, Congress has no power to participate or otherwise take part in any audit process. Obtaining any information in a pending audit clearly does not serve a legislative purpose of drafting or remedying legislation. Second, the audit decisions which the committee seeks to obtain are in cases still pending adjudication and therefore not final, not conclusive, and cannot be used as a fair, accurate, or intelligent basis for legislation. Third, COA has already published its annual audit reports for fiscal year 2022 and 2023, which are specifically intended to aid the executive and legislative departments in crafting responsive laws and regulations. Fourth, The only purpose mentioned is to expose to the public the use of confidential funds by the offices headed by the Vice President and purportedly whether such use follow the guidelines. During the subject hearing, Representative Castro stated, since hindi po pwedeng sabihin dito yung findings, yung report o yung anumang observations ng COA, ang mga taong bayan po interesado dito sa confidential funds at kung paano ito ginamit, kung ito po ba ay sumunod dun sa guidelines. Also, as reported in the media, Representative Castro has been known to say that the Vice President has not yet satisfactorily explained the OVP spending of confidential funds in 2022.